into the details. Former PNP chairman Phillip Paulwell has broken his silence on his shock resignation and that of the three vice presidents of the party. On Friday, Paulwell, Damon Crawford, Wickham McNeil, and Michael Phillips sent shockwaves through the party when they announced their resignation. The former chairman took to Facebook Live to explain the decision of the four senior PNP officials. Ricardo Brooks reports.
Phillip Paulwell took to Facebook and offered a frank assessment of the 83-year-old political party.
A viable opposition will not come about if we are disunited. The problem why we only have 14 members in the parliament today is that our house was not in order. We were disunited, and this started back from about 2017 right through the general elections, where we lost terribly, and of course, today. We are not going to see the sight of power if this continues.
The East Kingston MP says early on he had pledged to work with PNP President Mark Golding in the interest of party unity. He says he made a pledge that he would leave the PNP if another leadership challenge arose before the next general election. Paulwell says he was seeking to avoid more internal turmoil.
I was quite clear, and I thought our party was quite clear, the officers were quite clear, that we could not sustain another internal elections. That we need to ensure, to engineer, and that's what you call guided democracy. And it has happened before in 2006 and otherwise, when the leadership of the party say, listen, we are going to forego an internal campaign. An internal campaign costs people money, but more importantly, it costs unity. And I thought the entire officer corps.
The former party chairman says he believed the party's efforts were best served in preparing for the local government elections rather than an internal campaign. However, he says the efforts towards building consensus failed.
And I still wanted peace. I still wanted to ensure that during this period that we elect our officers, that we could agree on 4 VPs and that we could carry forward that agreement, and that we wouldn't have any upheaval with the regional leadership, the elections towards NEC, and so on and so forth. We could have done these all without disturbances.
Mr. Paulwell says he and the VPs took the decision to step back and allow Mark Golding to craft a team he's comfortable with. At the close of nominations on Friday, only Norman Scott, Eugene Kelly, Ian Hales, and Richard Azan had been nominated for a vice presidential slot. Paulwell ends his Facebook Live by saying he has been fighting for unity within the party from the very beginning. He now says he's too weak to fight. Ricardo Brooks, Nationwide News.
Meanwhile, Mr. Paulwell says the internal politics of the PNP has become so bitter that persons in the party have resorted to spreading rumors about him. The former chairman says he has always acted with integrity.
It's there. And you know, despite what anybody wants to say about me, every day I can look in the mirror with a clean heart and hands and say that I have been sincere in standing up for the Jamaican people, sincere in leading a life of honesty, a life without corrupt motives or practices, a life where in my own constituency I work for peace, for the killings that you hear about to stop, to ensure that gunmen are put away, people who have information to pass over the police.
Paulwell says the rumors about him have made their way to the U.S. Embassy in Kingston.
In this thing, you bear a bad name. People say all kinds of things about you. People will go to the U.S. Embassy. People of your own ilk will go and tell lies about you. That's how terrible the politics is. That's how terrible the internal politics can be. I bear these things.
Phillip Paulwell, former PNP chairman. Mr. Paulwell's U.S. visa was cancelled in 2019. Former U.S. ambassador to Kingston, Donald Tapia, told our news center last week that the revocation of the visa of Energy Minister Darrell Vaz may have started under the tenure of former Security Minister Peter Bunting. However, Ambassador Tapia did not provide further details on the revocations. It's not immediately clear who would have taken rumors about Mr. Paulwell to the U.S. Embassy.